So a little disclaimer. I made this video before I added in audio, so if I'm a few milliseconds off or so, I apologize. Okay, so first thing we do, obviously, is to open VirtualBox application. Once we do that, you'll see a window like this pop up. I'm going to create a new virtual machine. You do that by simply hitting new. Okay, so once you've selected new, to create a new virtual machine, you would add in the name of it. I prefer to use the name of the operating system because I like to test different ones. In this case, it will be Ubuntu. Just go through the settings. Very descriptive on each setting. It tells you what each option will do, and you just do it based on whatever your needs are. I just create a virtual hard drive, and then I leave it at virtual disk image, VirtualBox disk image, because I find that I run into less problems when I do that. So we just go through all these steps. Now that has been created, we just have to add something to have the virtual machine boot from. In this case, we're going to need to add an ISO file. You go into storage. There's nothing there. You add in, hit the add button. You choose a disk. I already have an ISO downloaded for Ubuntu. So you select the one you need. Hit OK. Now the disk is added. Now when we start, we'll recognize that we have some type of boot media to boot from, and that will allow us to properly install the OS. So we'll wait a little bit for this to load up. Yeah, you can just hit X out of that. I don't really find a need to go in there and edit those settings, so I usually just exit out of the dialog box that comes up on the top regarding the motion capture. Okay, looks like it's about to load up. Cool thing about Ubuntu is that it has a really intuitive graphical user interface to work with, as opposed to some other Linux distros. Now we just select English. You have the option to try it if you want before you install it, but good thing about virtual machine is if you mess up, you can restart and try again. So we'll just go ahead and install. Select those two boxes to download the updates while you're installing, and to install third-party software. Things for audio and less things you have to sudo apt-get update at the end. Okay, so once we do that, we can hit erase disk and install Ubuntu. Again, this is acting as if it's a regular computer, not a virtual machine, so don't be scared when it says that, because you're really not erasing your actual hard disk. Remember, we selected virtual hard disk at the beginning, so everything's virtualized. So install now. Yeah, I'd like to continue. No worries. Virtual machines are awesome. Good stuff. Okay, so we're in New York, and we're going to select New York. Once again, like I said, I made this video before I put in the audio, so forgive the random pauses. I apologize. Okay, come on, Jeremy, click it. There you go. Okay, so that's going to load up. Okay, now we can select which keyboard layout we're using. On the using a regular US English keyboard, so there's not really a need for me to type in there to have it detect it. That's the default. Now this is where we can type in the name. Obviously my name is Jeremy, so I'll be typing in Jeremy. Then fills in the rest for you. Choose a password. I wouldn't recommend the 4-character password, but then again, I am doing this for demonstration purposes. So yeah, continue. It's loading. Okay, so now it's gonna continue installing packages and the necessary software to fulfill the installation. This took about 10 minutes. I skipped through most of the part that this consisted of. So it's going to skip through. You'll see, you'll have to wait about 10 minutes for it to continue. Once that stops, you just continue. You restart the machine. Just simply hit restart now, that's all. Or reboot itself after this. This takes about a minute or two. And the cool thing about virtual machines are the fact that if you mess something up, you can simply just create a new one, wipe out the old VM that you've created without doing any harm to your computer. It's real easy, real simple once you get the hang of it. And this takes about a minute, like I said. This is actually the first video I've ever created, so that's why I ended up adding the audio later. Okay, so now we've booted into Ubuntu, or the virtual machine has rebooted and we're in the process of booting into Ubuntu. It's going to load up and it's going to come up to a screen where it's going to say the username, which in this case is Jeremy. This gives me the chance to type in my password and log in. Okay, so this is where you type in your password. This is how it will look every time you boot up the virtual machine. Unless you decide to save the machine state as something else, this is how it should work. 4 tabs on the top. Machine, view devices, and help. This is me trying to scale it. You can't just hit the window button apparently. I'll scale it in about a few minutes from now. Usually you can do that through view or... Okay, so now we're looking at the widgets. I'm just opening up different applications to see, to show how it looks. It's as if you're actually using, because you are using the actual Ubuntu OS. So it's no different than being on a computer that strictly has Ubuntu. It's no different, except for the view of it. Okay, so I'm gonna change it, scale it so it actually looks a little bit better. It's a little squished right now. Okay, so there, it looks a little bit better. Some Linux distributions actually look really nice in VirtualBox. My favorite is Debian as far as it looks and how real it looks when you use it. You make it full screen as if you're on a machine that has Debian. It's pretty cool. Okay, so opening up Firefox. Internet sometimes is a little bit slower running through a virtual machine, but it's not horrible. Depending on your connection and the power of your computer, it could be better than others. If you notice in the top right of this window that has the battery, it's actually true to the actual battery life of your computer. You have the time, and if you're familiar with Ubuntu, it's all the same stuff. It's the newest, one of the more modern versions. I believe this was the 14.04 I saw. Yeah. This is taking a little while to load up. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to navigate to my school site. And as you see, I mean, it's just real easy to do. It's real awesome if you want to test out different operating systems before you actually commit. I'm just scrolling around, checking things out. Again, the scaling's a little off, but if you go into the view settings, you can change it to however you like. Find a setting that works best for you. But that's about it, guys. If you want to turn off your virtual machine, simply power it off. Hit save machine state if you want to save it, and that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.